Hello everyone, my name is Ethel. This is day one of my 15 days challenge of talking to the camera. I saw this trend and I said, oh, this will be a perfect opportunity to introduce myself. I'm a mom of four young adults. My second child is diagnosed with autism and ADHD and severe speech and language disorder. Those were the initial diagnoses. He is 20 now because he lost his speech at 2 and his speech is back, but it's still a work in progress. See you on day 2. My son was born without complications. Everything was fine. It was an easy pregnancy. He started talking quite early, saying the very basic words, dad, mom, water. He could articulate perfectly what he wanted. At stage 2, we noticed this rash on him. Then he had a mild fever, and that was it. He just lost that connection. You know, when you call him, he won't respond to you. He was crying a lot. He was regressing so fast. Before we could blink, he had lost his speech. He wasn't speaking anymore. He wasn't talking to you anymore. He won't. You could tell he wasn't understanding what you were saying. It was a shock, a big shock. We contacted the GP. They said, "Oh, he'll be fine. He's just maybe he's not just feeling like talking." With that period we had him, autism was not so prevalent as it is now. Everywhere you go, you can seek help. Information is everywhere. It was different then. So I'll carry on from day 3. Thank you for watching. Yes, so my son, who was very bubbly, very happy child, um, curious and all, we just watched him slowly retract into his shell. He was so withdrawn. Um, at this point, as a mother, you would know that there was something wrong. Today is my day 3 of 15 of the talking to the camera challenge, and I've chosen to use this opportunity to share my autism story. Um, my name is Ethel. I've got a 20-year-old son who is on the spectrum. He's diagnosed with autism, ADHD, and speech and language disorder. Yeah, you can go through my first and second video to give you a clearer introduction. Nearly age 3, I was assigned a child. I was allocated a child because I was a healthcare assistant in a pediatric hospital then. So I was assigned a child to look after for the night because I did a night shift. And everything discussed about this child and the handover was mirroring everything my son was going through. Although this child was about 2 years older than my son. As I said in my earlier videos, autism was not prevalent as it is now. Google, you search, you would not really find information as we finding now. So I was kind of lost, but I knew mother's instinct. I knew something was wrong. I was such in denial. I shared my fears and my worries with a senior nurse. And she said, you know what? I believe your son has autism. I cried like a baby. I didn't sleep that night because I already knew. Somebody just confirmed what I already knew. See you tomorrow on day 4. Thank you for watching.
3. Today is day 4 of my talking to the camera challenge. Yeah, so after that shift at the pediatric ward, it hit me that Aaron, my son, would be needing extra support. So I still, I was so stubborn. I said no. Um, Maybe it's just temporary. Maybe he would pick up. He would just get better. I kept on hoping and praying that all of a sudden things would just resolve themselves. And then my son's godfather had a heart-to-heart talk with me, and then I just, said I just need to, sort help for Aaron. That was when the journey started in me pushing for a statement. Then it was called a statement. Statement meant an assessment and a diagnosis. So what we see now as the ACP, and that's what was, what the statement was then. So it was a long, long journey. It wasn't a straightforward one, but I'll share that as we progress. Thank you for watching. Please do give me a follow, and if you have any questions, let me know. That will help direct my story. So if you have any questions at all regarding autism, special need parenting, my journey, what you really want to know, which information you would like to for me to address or discuss, just let me know.
Day 5 of 15 of my talk to the camera challenge. At this point, I'd already started grieving the loss of a son. My husband was such in denial, and in the way of handling that, he just pulled away. He was so distant. But I just told myself I need to get up and do something. If I stay the way I am and just grieve and just feel and continue to feel bad, it's not going to help him. It's not going to help me. So I then completed I reached out to my GP and insisted that they refer Aaron for an assessment. It took almost a year, but we got there in the end. So when the assessment was done, he was not only diagnosed with autism, there was also a few months later, he was diagnosed with ADHD and severe speech and language disorder. But because by this time, he had no words anymore. So I started to do my own thing at home, try, because his older sister had no, she was a talkative. So going from that to this was so confusing for me. It was so confusing. So my daughter then was in nursery. They are just a year apart. Because of this diagnosis, the mainstream nursery they didn't take him. That was another heartbreak. Terrible heartbreak. So I had to take him to an inclusive nursery. Then the nightmare of the school system began. So I'll share that in my next video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm very happy and willing to share. See you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Everyone, day 6. Yes, so my son attended, we placed him in a specialist nursery. That was the pre-nursery. So he did his nursery there as well, because the mainstream nursery wouldn't accept him. Then they said he needed more support, and when he gets to reception, maybe they will reconsider. Remember, my older one is now in year 1, so reception, I applied and they took him. From the minute he stepped his foot in the nursery, you can tell only special needs parents will understand the gestures you get from teachers, the non-verbal language. You can tell your child is not loved. You can tell your child is seen as a quote burden. I just didn't care. I said, it's none of my business. I will place him. He has the right. I said, Mom, I fought for my son. I said, no, whether they like it or not, he will stay here because it's his right. Fairly okay in nursery, because nursery at that point, reception at that point, the children are still very young. They're still needy and all. So he just played into that, because most of the children there, obviously, they're still their age 4 and they're still very young. So he got to reception. It was topsy-turvy, complaints. It was when he got, where I started having problem was in year 1. It was horrible. And if any of the teachers, you know yourselves, if you see my face now, don't pretend as if you don't remember. You know what you did to my son. You know the lack of empathy you show towards my son. So don't pretend. If you see this video, I told you guys then that I was going to write a book. That's still coming. So when he got to year 1, I will be on the queue. I always got there early. I'll be on the queue waiting for the teachers to give me update on how Aaron's day had been, and and they had nothing to tell me. They had nothing to say. It's only the negative. Oh, he was running about every time. And I found out from a parent that he was made to stay in his class, even when every other person is out on break. With that, at that age, primary school age, the children, whether it's cold or not, they want to play. They want that break time. Aaron was made to sit in class whilst other went to play. The reason I got later was, he's very no. There was no teacher to do a one-to-one. Mind you, his statement had identified him needing one-to-one. We'll continue from here tomorrow. I just don't want to get upset. My son is in a mainstream primary school. I've got a full statement which identifies him to be needing one-to-one. So what that means is the local authority provides extra resources to the primary school to enable everyone get a one-to-one. Now what they do, they get this TA, this one-to-one, and use the teacher that's supposed to be with Aaron one-to-one for the rest of the class. Aside other things that really got me livid was at the end of year 1, there was a trip. They needed to go for a trip, and they said Aaron couldn't go. Reason being that parents need to come with him. Why should the parents come? My husband is working, I am working. He's in the school system just like every other child. He should be able to access the curriculum in full. So they said if a parent or carer don't come with him, he won't be going. So my dear friend, my late friend now, she's passed with God bless her. So she left her, she came overnight and escorted. He said, we don't need to be arguing every time. I will go. So she said she sat on the bus. Throughout that trip, she said your Aaron did not get one person say hello to him. He was ignored. He was left aside, no hello. The TA, his teaching assistant that's supposed to be providing the one-to-one, ignored him totally and was dealing with the rest of the class on the bus. So my friend came and said, you know what, I have to be honest with you. I know you want to stand your grounds to say, yes, they need to provide support for Aaron, but as it is now, they don't want him there. I know we can fight all we want, he will be there, but is he really getting the benefits of school? He's not loved, he's not getting supported, they're just abandoning him. He's just there just to tick the box. So I think you have to make you and your husband, you need to come to a decision now and look for a different school. My darlings, I cried that day, broke my heart, and discuss how we went about, whether I took him out or I still decided to keep him. Thank you for watching. Please do follow my page and ask questions. I'm ready to answer. Thank you. Take care. Because this school has realized that they've messed up and that they failed, they didn't want Aaron to leave on my own terms. They wanted a situation where they would write to the local authority and say, sorry, we can't meet their needs. But because I am the parent now complaining that they are not meeting his needs, this and they're hard proof and all that, I don't know what they said to the school. The school just did a 180 degrees turn, flip. They weren't answering my calls anymore. It was just like us against her. I every school I looked out for, every school I confronted, or every school I reached out to, they'll be all right until they call this present school. Then I found this time around I said I'm not doing any church school anymore. I'll go to council old school, where I just my husband. It was even my husband, to be honest. What my husband said, there's this primary school not far from us. Because it's not a church school, that's why you're just ignoring it. You'll be surprised we're sitting on gold here. Let's just try that. I was reluctant. I said, no, I'll find a place. So after I've been beaten by the rain, I've been rejected by all, I said, okay, it's time. Let me make a move to this school. That was where I got my big break. See you in my next video. Thank you for watching. I'm enjoying this expressive. It's like this is a trauma I've always had. And I notice that since I've been expressing and sharing my experiences over the weeks, I've been getting like relief. It's like unhealed trauma. I'm just so pleased I'm sharing this story, because some people are presently going through what I went through. So it's only fair to let you know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. See you in my next video. So since the school wasn't forthcoming, so I had to, every other church school started, rejecting us after they had spoken to the present primary school. So we went to a council school not far from our house, and I wrote a letter and approached the head teacher, and I asked him for a favor. I said, if you know you're going to consider us, please, for now, do you mind not telling the other school? So just meet Aaron first, see him, do the interview, and so you can know him for him, and have a one-to-one with me first. Then it's fine if you don't take us, but just give us that chance. Because what I've noticed, once you contact the school, he was so big up, Mr. Hyde. We still remember you. You are one of the best. God bless you. That man was an angel sent to us. So he smiled and said, oh, do you know we received a form or a letter, a write-up from the present school. I said, so quick? He said, once you mentioned that you would want him to move here, once you mention it to the council, they already have the information. So they had already gone ahead of me, sent a letter and whatever to the head teacher. Up till this day, the head teacher said, you know what, Mom, I'm not going to show you the content of that letter. If you see it, you'll be so heartbroken and it may cause a problem. But once I read it, I knew something was up. I knew this was not right. I knew it was just a propaganda or something. I that's why I said I needed you to come, because actually I was surprised. He invited Aaron and I. Then Aaron was in year 2. I had enough. He just moved to year 2 in the present school then. So I just said, we can't do this. I just need to move him. So he said, please, when you're coming, come with Aaron. Because he said after he read the letter, he needed to see if what they're writing there matches the person they're describing. When we got there, totally zero. No match. It was like they were writing about somebody, a stranger, somebody different. So I'll use this opportunity to chip in that if you're a professional, you're supporting children, you're supporting people with learning disability, it may not even be children, please have a heart of kindness. Because we are not going to be, spring chickens forever. We'll get to a point where we'll be old, gray, and weak. And these things we do when we were young and when we were, you know, strong and fit, it will come to haunt us because it's not fair. How would people who have children plot just because they didn't want to look bad? So that was how we started with Mr. Hadmid. I said, I don't even care. But Ethel, but there's one thing, we don't have space. But from what I'm seeing, you're stressed out and it's not even fair on Aaron. I would offer you half day. This is somebody in year 2. I didn't care even if they offered me 1 hour. So he said, I'll offer you half a day, and I work. So I had to get a nanny. That's all the shebang just to make it work. But I was very pleased. He was kind enough to give us some, you know, to offer us help. And that was when Aaron started, you know, that was when Aaron started thriving. The teachers were bent on helping him, making sure. And this was also a mainstream primary school. A mainstream primary school. The teachers amazing. After a year, he was offered a breakfast club, so I was able to drop him early. Yes, every now and again we'll have issues. Yeah, everyone, maybe if it's not settling, or maybe it's coming down with a fever, or you know how it is with our lovely children. So, but they worked in partnership. I mean, close partnership. They worked in collaboration with us, the family. And after he had done his primary school, no hiccups, no stress. I was so happy. When he was leaving that school, I cried. I didn't even want him to grow up anymore. You know that feeling when you feel, as a special needs mom, when you get a time, a break, you just want to remain in that space. But obviously they need to grow, they need to move on. So when he left that school, I was so, you know, but when he was leaving, okay, I'll continue from the next video. I appreciate you all for your comments, for your kindness, for your encouragement. It's been amazing. Thank you so much, and see you in my next video. Bye. Have a good evening. And when Aaron was in this primary school, all adjustments needed for Aaron to be comfortable was made. Aaron can't eat cold food, warm food, nearly hot. No, it has to be piping hot. So they made exceptions for just Aaron. So his packed lunch was taken to school, and when it's break time, they heat it up in the staff microwave. They wouldn't do it for any other person, but because they knew, they saw Aaron wasn't eating. If it's not hot, he won't eat it. So that and many more. Why Aaron was in that primary school, because Aaron was, I think, their very first profound child with autism. So they learned their skills, they improved their skills supporting Aaron. So before Aaron finished, left the school, towards the end of his tenure there, the local authority granted them a resource base. A resource base is something, it's a section of the primary school where it's a mainstream, but there's a part of the building left for children with autism within the premises. So what it is, there are some subjects the child will have to be taken away from the mainstream section and taken to the resource base and taught and brought back, just for them to have a feel of mainstream and, you know, the specialist, which was amazing. So instead of turning children away to say, oh, sorry, we don't have the resources for special needs, the school has a resource base. So that was a win, a big win. I think it was introduced 2 years before Aaron left, finished primary school. Another thing the primary school did, was to send Aaron's favorite TAs, teaching assistants, to go and have a tester days in the new secondary. So our plan now was
since we struggled a lot with Aaron being in mainstream, we in during the primary school days, so we decided to move him to a specialist secondary school. So the primary school teachers went there for a couple of days with Aaron to have a tester days. Then after which the teachers went by themselves and had meetings with the secondary school teachers to discuss Aaron's approach to learning, what works for Aaron, what are the triggers. I'm telling you, this school is Crown Lane Primary School. I won't say in London. Mr. Hyde, thank you. Aaron, thank you. There's and so many other teachers. They were just amazing. So he then started the secondary school. The secondary school was just like a continuation of the primary. 100/100, amazing. Aaron grew. He thrived so much in secondary school. His speech improved. The teachers were willing to work with Aaron. The teacher worked closely with family. It was just super, 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 super. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm very willing to share. I'm very willing to share information as much as I can, because knowledge is key. And for parents who are just experiencing this, you're still in your early years with your autistic folk, it's not the end of the world. It's truly going to get better as you grow to know your son or daughter more. The more be filled with knowledge and information to support them better. So don't give up. Take care.